You're watching WGAL News 8.
Well, February is Black History Month, and today we're taking a look at the role it plays in the classroom, how it's taught, when it's taught, and the evolution of Black history in the Pennsylvania education system. And I have the pleasure and privilege of speaking with Dr. Sherry Washington, Chair of the Education Committee of the PA State Conference of the NAACP, and Pat Steely, Chair of the Education Committee of the Lebanon County NAACP. Thank you so much both for joining us and for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Dr. Sherry Washington, I want to begin with you and start where I left off when we were talking about the evolution in the introduction. Can you first talk about when Black history was first taught in Pennsylvania schools and maybe just kind of take us through some of the evolution of how it's been taught since then?
That's a loaded question because you have to remember Black history, and I'll start with your county. Mm-hmm. The school system was segregated, and so Black history was taught when the schools were segregated. It was during when the school became integrated where the decision came into how much of it was included in the curriculum and how much of it was not. In regards to how it has evolved here in our current state, that vacillates between each county. Each counties are different. The boards approve whether or not an African American history course or African American literature course is permissible. Unfortunately, we have some school districts that are still trying to ban books and ban curriculum. So it vacillates.
Well, we'll talk about that, but it's interesting to know that there is no standard across the entire state. It all really depends on the district. Is that correct?
That is correct and unfortunate, yes.
Gotcha. Well, I want to go over to, many people have said this before, but Black history is American history. So, Pat, if we can talk a little bit about why it's been such a struggle over the course of years to be able to give equal time and attention to some topics that are more mainstream, or some folks would feel are mainstream American history versus others.
Well, I think it comes down to the whole issue of race and discomfort of having conversations about race. That what I feel is so important is we do need to have honest history. We need to have representation in the classroom. Children need to have windows and mirrors of their own identities, of what they look like. And I think part of the problem is, especially as I'm speaking as a white woman, I'm a retired educator, retired teacher, and sometimes I've been asked too, why are you involved in the NAACP? And the main reason is because I'm white. I need to be an ally, and we need to address the whole issue in the schools that it's okay to talk about race, that it is okay. It's hard and it's uncomfortable, but if we don't start from preschool up, making the conversations comfortable in a very developmentally appropriate manner, then we're not going to grow, we're not going to learn, because people of color already, Black or Hispanic or mixed heritage kids, they're already talking about race. They're living it every single day of their life.
Yes.
And to me, it's just, I believe it just adds a little bit more to the idea of systemic racism in the educational system, that we don't talk about race. We don't have honest history.
Well, talking about that, I mean, over the past several years, we all know that there have been book bans, there have been questions when it comes to courses. We know that some of those book bans obviously include African American literature. Talk about the fact, or describe to me what you think is the issue or the fear of having some of these stories and information shared.
Do you want to address? Go ahead, and then I can jump.
I think the biggest issue is the confusion between CRT and culturally relevant teaching. Critical race theory is what's taught on a collegiate level. Culturally relevant teaching is a philosophy, a methodology that's been instructed on when you're preparing for your education licensure forever. It's the way we reach our children. It's about bringing culturally relevant teaching into the classroom. It's kind of like what Pat said. If I'm teaching a novel, every now and then, more than every now and then, those characters need to reflect the students who they represent. So I think the biggest thing about why these book bans are coming about is fear. And if I aren't sure who you are, or or your history, then I'll make up your history.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and you brought it up. I said she must have saw my questions because I was going to bring up critical race theory, right? Can we just say, I think there's a lot of confusion. Can you just clearly say, what is critical race theory, and is that being taught in public schools here in the state of Pennsylvania? Because to my understanding, and a lot of people's understanding, that is something that is taught in college, in a university setting.
Critical race theory is taught in college and a university setting. It is not taught in public schools. It is used as a weapon to demonize books, literature, history of people of African descent. No other ethnicity but people of African descent. Now, although there are other books that are being banned by people of color, the focus is on African Americans. The focus should be on the culturally relevant teaching. Same letters, but they get confused. And culturally relevant teaching is important. It's how we reach our young people. It's how we keep them engaged. It's how we make sure that we leverage that playing field and give them the equitable opportunities they need.
Yes, and so I thank you so much. I know we're about to wrap up here, but if there is a parent or if there's a student, if there's someone watching and they want information in regards to Black history, some resources that they can check out, can you give them some of that?
Oh, there's so many. I'm going to say the 1619 Project that some schools are banning. Jump on that website and check it out. If you have younger children, you have Gracie's Corner, which is phenomenal. It will keep your children entertained forever, and it's very educational. And then you have a plethora of books from middle school to high school. What we can do is on our Pennsylvania State NAACP website, we can include a list of novels and books and resources that people can access.
Well, I know folks will appreciate it. Dr. Sherry Washington, Mr. Pat Steely, thank you both so much for coming in and speaking with us.
Thank you
We
for having
appreciate
us.
it.
Thank you very much for the
Thank
opportunity.
you. And